Hello, I'm Fred from Pickleball Guys, and today I'm going to be reviewing Joola's Gen 3 series of pickleball paddles. So, let's get right into what's new and special about the Gen 3 series. There's been a lot of hype leading up to the launch of these paddles, and Joola was very cautious leading up to their release, as they didn't want to have their new technology leaked to the public too early. Their patent-pending Propulsion Cores are a unique development in Joola's polymer core production. The cores are made to be more flexible and elastic than their previous cores, and they've also added an additional foam layer around the core, which allows it to generate more power, especially when combined with the pre-existing foam utilized within the edge guards. Now, the foam extends from the bottom edges of the face through to the top of the paddle, but the handle still remains a direct connection to the polymer core material, which allows for more precise feedback and feel for the player. Compared to the earlier generation models, these paddles will deliver exceptional power, but with more enhanced feel and control. Another feature of the Gen 3 series is the addition of NFC chips embedded within the paddle. These will not only help verify that your paddle is indeed a genuine Joola paddle and not a knockoff or a fake, but you'll also be able to directly register your paddle and extend your warranty from 6 months to a year through the Joola Infinity app. So that's kind of a neat feature. It's certainly not enhancing, nor is it negating from the paddle's playability in any way, but it's cool to see this being used. We have some familiar shapes in the Gen 3 series. The Hyperion and Perseus models, both in 14mm and 16mm core thicknesses, are very similar in specs and remain unchanged from their predecessors. The Hyperion just has an arrow-curved head shape for more maneuverability, while the Perseus is a more squared off with a little bit of extra reach and stability. There's also the Scorpius models, which are very popular for doubles players with their wide body shapes and large sweet spots. The Hyperion, Perseus, and Scorpius paddles all have handle lengths of 5.5 inches to accommodate for the two-handed backhands out there. But Joola has also introduced a new model called the Magnus. That comes in 14mm and 16mm core thickness variants. The Magnus was designed specifically for Tyson McGuffin, who is now signed with Joola, and it is an elongated shape with a 5-inch handle. Now, the grip sizes on the 16mm variants are approximately 4.25 inches. However, I've heard there might be some slight deviations where grips can be more like 4 3/8 of an inch. Not a big deal for me, but definitely wanted to give you a heads up if you're concerned with wanting a smaller grip size. The 14mm variants have grip sizes of 4 1/8 of an inch, so those are at least some smaller grip size options. Now that I've had some time to test out these new Gen 3 paddles, let's get into what I would rate them in terms of power, control, spin, and maneuverability. Now, since we're dealing with two different core thickness variants with the 14mm and 16mm, I'm going to rate these based on model shapes. Naturally, the 14mm paddles are going to be a little bit lighter. There's about a 0.2 ounce difference between the two. The 14mm will have more power capability, while the 16mm will have more control. Their spin potential will be the same, as will their maneuverability. The only variable for maneuverability between the two thickness variants will be the grip sizes, and that's just a matter of personal preference. The Magnus definitely felt the most powerful to me. This is probably due to its elongated shape, allowing for more weight in the head. The Hyperion felt like it was next in line for power, followed by the Perseus and then the Scorpius respectively. I was pleasantly surprised by the increase in power in the Scorpius paddles from their previous generation models. The charged carbon surface of these paddles mean that these are thermoform paddles, so you can expect some crisp shots and greater energy return on the ball. When it comes to control, the Scorpius and Perseus paddles really stand out. Putting my personal preferences aside, I'll give the Scorpius the edge in this category, since it has a larger sweet spot, making it much better as a defensive paddle and ideal for the fast pace of play of doubles. The Perseus really gives the best of both worlds in terms of power and control, and the Magnus and Hyperion are right there as well. But it's hard to beat the user-friendly, wide-body shape that the Scorpius offers. For spin, the Magnus is again a bit of a standout. The elongated shape will always allow for more vertical surface area to carve around the ball and put more spin onto the ball. The Perseus and Hyperion are next in line, followed by the Scorpius. The charged carbon surface is the same etched raw carbon fiber as the Gen 2 paddles, which is a great surface. So no need to change it up, unless they're able to do something similar to the Diadem's Edge 18K. Who knows, maybe Gen 4 will be creative with their carbon fiber weaves. One can only dream. But their current surface is still excellent for creating friction. The Hyperion and Scorpius tie for their maneuverability, followed by the Perseus and then the Magnus. The Hyperion has that arrow-curved head shape that allows it to swing through the air a little bit more effortlessly, and And then the Scorpius has the shorter paddle length, making its balance feel a little bit more maneuverable. Now, while they play a little different in terms of how they play, they both feel equally maneuverable. The Perseus is still quite maneuverable as well. The Magnus simply has more weight in the head, so you'll have to anticipate your shots a little bit more with that one. Overall, I'm quite impressed with the Gen 3 series. I know Joola worked diligently with their research and development for their new Propulsion Core technology, and you can feel the difference. They all feel better than their previous generations in their respective models, both in terms of power and control. I do feel like the changes they made to the core design have significantly improved these paddles. And I'm not trying to blow smoke, as I'm naturally a skeptic to most technology changes with regards to paddles or rackets, until I can actually test them for myself and feel the difference. But Joola's Gen 3 paddles truly are a significant improvement upon their previous successful Gen 1 and Gen 2 paddle models. My personal favorite is the Magnus 16mm, as I've always preferred an elongated shape, and the 16mm core thickness is ideal for me and my playstyle. Thank you for watching. Please let us know in the comments what your favorite paddle out of the bunch is, or if you have any other questions on the Gen 3 series. And of course, please let us know in the comments what you think we should review in the future. The Joola Gen 3 series of paddles are available at pickleballguys.ca and pickleballguys.com. Come check us out.